The Elite League has given us some incredible moments, titles, trophies, and the occasional line brawl that looked like it started over a dodgy face-off. But for every team still going strong today, there are a few names that disappeared from the standings, leaving behind stories of passion, chaos, and more than a few unpaid bills. Clubs that once battled it out in Britain's top flight before hanging up the skates, or at least changing leagues. Some went down swinging, some just quietly vanished, and some, well, they left us with memories we'll never forget. This is 7 former teams of the Elite League. Newcastle Vipers. Let's start up north with the team that brought top flight hockey back to Tyneside, the Newcastle Vipers. Formed in 2002 and joining the Elite League in 2005, the Vipers were born from the ashes of the Super League's Newcastle Jesters, and they quickly made a name for themselves. Coached by Rob Wilson, the Vipers were a team that combined grit, skill, and the occasional scrap that made the penalty box look like rush hour on the metro. They had some serious names: David Longstaff, Andre Payette, and Sean Johnson, to name a few. Players who would change a game in an instant, or at least make sure nobody else did by sheer intimidation. In 2006, against all odds, the Vipers won the playoff championship, shocking the league by taking down the Sheffield Steelers in the final. That win remains one of the most unexpected and satisfying underdog stories in Elite League history. But things got rocky fast. The club bounced between the massive Metro Radio Arena in Newcastle and Whitley Bay, battling dwindling crowds, financial strain, and arena chaos. By 2011, the Vipers folded mid-season, gone before the playoffs, but never forgotten. Today, hockey still thrives in the region, thanks to the Whitley Warriors and the Billingham Stars, keeping the Northeast spirit alive, even if the Vipers bite is just a fond memory now. Basingstoke Bison. Next up, we head south to Basingstoke, home of the Bison, one of the Elite League's founding members and one of the most loyal fan bases in British hockey. Basingstoke might not have had the fascist arena, but what it did have was atmosphere and a reputation for being absolutely freezing. Players said build character, fans said build hypothermia. Over the years, the Bison iced some strong rosters, guys like Craig Chambers, Joe Cirillo, with Doug Shepherd later taking charge behind the bench. They had solid playoff runs and plenty of fight, but like so many smaller market teams, the finances just couldn't keep pace with the Elite League's growing costs. By 2009, Basingstoke withdrew from the league to regroup in the English Premier League, a step down that actually worked out pretty well. In the years that followed, the Bison rebuilt stability and went on to lift multiple trophies in the EPL era under Shepherd's leadership. Today, they continue to play in the EIHL National Division, still calling Planet Ice Basingstoke home, and still backed by one of the most passionate fan bases in the country. They might have left the Elite League, but make no mistake, the herd is still charging strong. Hull Stingrays. Few teams in Elite League history captured the rollercoaster chaos of British hockey quite like the Hull Stingrays. Based out of Hull Arena, the Stingrays entered the league in 2003 and quickly became known for being, well, unpredictable. Some nights they pull off an upset win over a top team, other nights you'd swear the Zamboni had better defensive coverage. Under Sylvain Cloutier, who was both player and coach, the team developed a real identity, scrappy, hardworking and dangerous when underestimated. Stars like Jeremy Tendler, Matty Davis and Osman gave Hull fans something to cheer about, especially the 2015 playoff run when they stunned everyone to reach the semi-finals. But heartbreak followed quickly. Just weeks later, financial collapse forced the club to shut down. The good news? Hockey in Hull refused to die. The Hull Pirates rose from the ashes, and today the Hull Seahawks keep that passion alive, proving that even when the Stingrays sank, they didn't stay at the bottom for long. Manchester Phoenix. Manchester's hockey story is one of big ambition and even bigger headaches. The Manchester Phoenix, founded by Neil Morris, were supposed to bring top-tier hockey back to one of the UK's biggest cities after the old Manchester Storm collapsed. Led by none other than Tony Hand, a true British hockey legend, the Phoenix started strong, icing talented players like David Beauregard, Adam Walker and Luke Borthroyd. The problem? Arena rent and scheduling. Playing out of the massive Manchester arena was expensive and they couldn't get ice time. They were forced to move to Altrincham, a much smaller rink that could barely fit the fans, never mind the ambition. By 2009, they dropped down to the EPL, where they actually thrived for a few years, winning league titles and keeping the dream alive. by 2017, with no stable rink and mounting debts, the Phoenix finally folded. Still, the legacy lived on because just 2 years prior in 2015, Manchester got its Elite League team back. The new Manchester Storm brought things full circle. Milton Keynes Lightning. Next, a short but eventful stint, the Milton Keynes Lightning. After years of success in the EPL, MK stepped up to the Elite League in 2017 with Pete Russell behind the bench. They had fan favourites like Kevin King, Paul Phillips and Guilherme Deset, and that first season, not bad at all, competitive, exciting and full of energy. But behind the scenes, things got messy fast. Budget problems, management changes and player departures all hit within 2 seasons. By 2019, MK announced they were leaving the Elite League to return to the EIHL, a league better suited to their size and budget. Since then, the Lightning have rebuilt steadily and continue to have one of the loudest and most loyal fan bases in British hockey. Because if there's one thing you learn watching MK, it's that no one makes more noise than those fans. Edinburgh Capitals. Up next, we head to Scotland, where the Edinburgh Capitals were a staple for the Elite League for 15 years. Operating out of the iconic but ageing Murrayfield ice rink, the Caps are known for their loyal supporters and some surprisingly strong seasons despite running one of the league's smallest budgets. They iced cult favourites like Martin Kringle, Richard Hartman, and in later years Tyler Brescaroni. They were managed by Scott Neal, who practically was the Edinburgh Capitals, but the financial gap between the top clubs and the Caps kept growing. By 2018, after several bottom place finishes and ongoing rink issues, Edinburgh withdrew from the Elite League and disappeared completely. Today, the Edinburgh Capitals are back playing in the SNL and keeping the name alive. And there's still talk of a return someday, because let's face it, British hockey just feels right when there's a team from Scottish capital involved. London Racers. And finally, the wild ride that was the London Racers. Part of the Elite League's early dream of bringing hockey back to the capital, the Racers played out of Lee Valley Ice Centre and iced players like Eric Kearns, Jeremy Cornish and Dennis Maxwell. They started with potential, then descended into what can only be described as peak Elite League chaos. Unsafe rink boards, player injuries and insurance issues led to a player boycott of their own home arena. In 2005, after just 2 seasons, the team folded mid-season, the shortest Elite League run of them all. But credit where credit's due, the Racers laid the groundwork for future London hockey ambitions. And their brief time in the league is still talked about whenever fans ask, why doesn't London have an Elite League team anymore? So there you have it, 7 teams that once called the Elite League home. Some won trophies, some barely lasted a season, but all of them left their mark on the game. They helped build the foundations of British hockey, the rinks, the rivalries, the memories that we still talk about today. From the Vipers' playoff miracle to the Capitals' underdog spirit, these teams may be gone from the standings, but they're definitely not forgotten. Which of these teams do you miss the most? Let us know in the comments below, and if you enjoyed this trip through Elite League history, hit like, subscribe and join us next time for more stories from the world of British hockey. The good, the bad and the slightly unhinged.